All right, let's get practicing in QuickBooks Online. Grab the link below in the description so that you can follow along. All right, here we are in the QBO Gym. And the QBO Gym is a place where we have numerous exercises that simulate real life scenarios that you may encounter as a bookkeeper. Every single month, we come out with new exercises for you to practice your skills, and we break it down for you into 4 different sections. Today, we're going to be finishing up the January cardio section. At the top here is a little animated video to tell you what you're going to be doing as a bookkeeper for Craig this month. He is our fictitious business owner. Further down is an interactive quiz to test your knowledge. Below that are all of the exercises within this section. And then at the bottom here is an optional area where after you have completed all of the exercises in this section, you can use some of these sample posts on LinkedIn to share with everybody what you have learned so far. So let's go ahead and dive right in. This is our last exercise in the cardio section, and we're going to practice dealing with accounts receivable errors. Go ahead and click on that link to pull it up. I have it over here on the right-hand side, so let's see what we're going to be doing today. As you clean up Craig's account, you run an accounts receivable aging summary and see some negative numbers. How did this happen, and how do you fix it? So we will be working in the sample company, and you need to be in the same session of the sample company from the previous exercises in this section. If you have not completed those yet, be sure to click on the link on the top right corner of the screen. That'll take you to the first one. Go ahead and do that one and all the ones after it until you get back to this one. They all build on each other, so it's really important you start with that first one. So just like we saw with accounts payable, clients can get into trouble if they don't follow the correct workflow with accounts receivable. So let's take a look using our remaining transaction in the bank feed. We're going to click on bank transactions so that we can get to that back to that banking center. This is the sample company, the last page that I left off of from the previous exercise. Bank transactions is here on the left navigation bar. It happens to be a bookmark. And we have that one transaction left for Cool Cars. Now, the transaction is matching a payment from an invoice sent to Cool Cars, but as we've discussed, some clients don't know how to match and categorize and add instead. So let's see what happens. Go ahead and click on Cool Cars so that we can expand it. And then we're going to click on categorize, that button right there. You can see that I clicked out of it. Go back to this for a second. It has that payment 1886 that is showing what that payment is, that it was made for this particular invoice. So in the account field, we are going to click into it and select accounts receivable. So go ahead and click into this. I would recommend typing in accounts so that you can easily find it. There is accounts receivable. Go ahead and click on that one. Now, this transaction does not include the payee. QBO is just guessing. So we're going to go ahead and add that. In the payee field, we're going to click on Cool Cars, which happens to be right here. And now we're simply just going to click on Add. Click on the Add button there. And now it's showing that the transaction was categorized. But let's take a look at how this appears on the report. We're going to go back to the reporting center by clicking on Reports on the left navigation bar. And then this time we want to click on Accounts Receivable Aging Summary. Click on that one. Now this results in a negative balance for Cool Cars. See it right here, that negative 694. So let's see how we would fix it. From the left navigation bar, let's hover over sales and then select customers. So hover over sales and then select customers from the drop down. Let's go ahead and find Cool Cars. They are this one right here towards the top. Click on their name to get their customer profile up here. If you get any pop-ups, just go ahead and click out of it. It's just QBO trying to be extra helpful here. I am going to collapse this a little bit just so we can see a little bit more on my screen. You should be able to see the whole thing as I have a shortened screen because I have the exercise on the one side. So just know that you can collapse it if you want to, but you should be able to see all of the information on the line. Now, because it was money in, this time QBO created a deposit, but you had already received the money, meaning it looks like an overstated income. Not only that, but QBO thinks that there must be a matching invoice from the date of the deposit, which is now showing as overdue. As you can see right here, that is that line. So as before, the simple solution would just be to delete the deposit. So using the drop down arrow in the deposit row, we're going to click delete. So that is this one right here, the one that's showing as overdue. We're going to click that down arrow and then we're going to select delete. Now you're going to get this pop up here asking if you're sure you want to do it. And of course, for this exercise at least, we want to go ahead and click delete. All right, so now let's return to the bank feeds. Go ahead and click on bank transactions over here on the left nav bar. And when you do, you will see now we have Cool Cars showing up again. So the correct next step here would be to just match the transaction. But what if this client were not marking their invoices paid using the receive payment transaction like they're supposed to, or just adding the payment through the bank feed? In order to recreate what would happen, we're going to have to delete the current payment transaction. So we're basically just recreating this problem that we just said, but as mentioned before, you would want to go ahead and match this in real life. But if they're not using the receive payment transaction and using a totally different wrong workflow, we're going to recreate that problem so that we can see how we would fix it. So click on the payment 1886 right here, anywhere on that line to expand it is fine. We're going to click on payment 1886 right here so that we can have the receive payment pop up. Now let's go ahead and click on more and then delete. More is down here. Go ahead and click on that and then click on delete. It's going to ask if you want to delete this. If you're short for this exercise, yes, go ahead and click on yes. So now instead of matching, let's categorize this as accounts receivable and see how that changes things. Now you can see it says invoice 1004 because we have deleted that receive payment. So click anywhere on that line to expand it. This time we're going to click on the button that says categorize, and we are going to categorize this again as accounts receivable. So click into it, go ahead and type in accounts so that you can easily see it and find it. Go ahead and click on accounts receivable or AR. And then we're going to enter Cool Cars again as the customer. So click on the down arrow here. You can see them right towards the top. Go ahead and click on Cool Cars. And now we're going to simply add. Go ahead and click on add. And when you do, it says that the transaction has been categorized, and that is why it is no longer here in the bank feed. So let's take a look at how this changes on the report. Go ahead and click on reports once again on the left navigation bar. And then we're going to click on accounts receivable aging summary. Click on that one right there. And as before, we not only have a negative number here, but we have the positive number in the aging column next to it. If the dates of the transactions were in the same aging period, it would cancel each other out and it would show as a 0. Similar to what we did in the previous exercise with Tim Philip Masonry, where they were canceling each other out because they were in the same aging column here because of the dates that for those transactions. This is like Hall Properties from the previous exercise, where we have two different aging because of the dates, two different aging periods, and that is why this one is here as a positive and this one's showing as the negative there. So solving the issue is just a matter of connecting the deposit to the open invoice. So again, we're going to go back to Cool Cars by from the left navigation bar, we're going to hover over sales and then select customers. Sales is on the left-hand side here. Hover over that and then click on customers. Let's find Cool Cars, which happens to be towards the top here. Go ahead and click on their name to get their customer profile appearing. Now you will see it here. There is one that shows as the invoice for overdue. We're going to go ahead and click on receive payment. Now, once again, when this pulls up, QBO is going to assume that the deposit should be applied to the open invoice. Remember, if you had multiple invoices here or deposits, you would need to make sure that the correct ones were selected and connected. So there's only one here. This is perfect, and it was for that exact amount payment. So we're all good here. All we need to do now is just save and close. So click on the save and close button. There we go. And you will see now that we've done that, there's no overdue payment. There's showing as closed. The payment is showing as closed. So everything is looking good. But let's take a look one more time at the report. Go ahead and click on reports one more time over here on the left side. And then again, that accounts receivable aging report or summary. Go ahead and click on that. And when you do that, you will see that Cool Cars is no longer on the list, which means that we have fixed the problem. And that's a little example, an exercise in how you may encounter some accounts receivable errors and how to fix it. And if you have any questions or want to know more about the QBO Gym, just go ahead and click on the link below in the description. We have finished the cardio section. We move on to the strength training section with our next exercise where we practice opening a money market account. And I will see you in the next video.